A 1-0 victory at Bala on Saturday in your first game in charge. You've had time to reflect, time to step away from the immediate emotions of the game. What's your verdict now, looking back on Monday afternoon?
Yeah, probably fairly similar to what I felt after the game. After, obviously, we do a thorough debrief with the players, with the staff, and felt that it was a really strong win, a really professional win. And a very tough win, actually. So it was we were really tested throughout that game. We were pleased to get the first goal and to be able to sort of match up with them physically and really deal with that direct long ball physicality threat. We were really pleased with the bits in the performance we needed improving on. Yeah, we certainly were. And we've looked to address them today moving forward for the games coming up. But all in all, I think the first game of the split, to get the win was the most important thing. And doing that with a clean sheet was very pleasing.
And it was an important win for a number of reasons. It puts TNS in the driving seat. How important is that psychologically going forward into the next 9 games?
Yeah, I think it's always, or most of the time, harder when you probably play second. Our game was obviously later than all the other teams, but we really do try and focus on what we're doing. And if we take care of business ourselves and make sure that we put in good performances first and foremost, that then give us a better chance of getting the result, that's our main focus. So I think you can get caught up too much with what's going on outside. Obviously, everybody knows the results going into that later kickoff, so we all knew. But we knew that if we'd performed right and did the things that we'd worked on and practiced and spoke about and win the game, then the rest will take care of itself. So I think it's more important that we got that win in the first game of the split, and that's a good psychological boost for the players to be able to win in that way.
And still with the game at Maes Tegid, you made 3 substitutions: Smith for Clark, Mullen for Brobble, Draper for Roscoe. Very good players replacing very good players. That's indicative of a healthy, strong squad. And again, how important will that be going into this very busy period in the next few weeks?
Yeah, like you say, it is very busy this period. So it's Saturday, Tuesday games virtually all the way through until the last week of the season. So we will certainly need everyone in the squad. There's really good competition for places at the moment. We've been doing a lot of extra work with the ones who might not have played enough minutes as well, so I've had a good look at them, and yeah, it is good. There's some ones who are really pushing, the ones who are starting at the moment, and that's what you want in a healthy squad. You want that competition for places, and we've got that in some certain positions at the moment, and long may that continue. And people are really fighting to get in that team and get that shirt back, or stay in the team as well. So that's a positive.
And as well as looking back, it's also a case of looking forward. At what point over the weekend did you draw the line under the Bala Town game and then start to focus exclusively on the visit to Jenner Park?
Well, the minute the whistle finishes, I think as a head coach or staff, we're always starting to look ahead to the next game. But, I mean, the players came in for training this morning and we debriefed the game in the areas of strength and areas of improvement. So we make sure we finish that off on today and then look forward to our prep that we'll do later on today as well for the next game against Barry. So you're always constantly reviewing, I think, and seeing where you are and what you've done well to then take into the next game, but then constantly checking for the games ahead to try and see what little advantages you can get and prepare for the opposition. I think it's a balance sometimes, trying to get the right amount of how much you do on the opposition, how much you concentrate on us. So hopefully we're getting that right at the moment. And I think that we know here that if the team plays well, we perform well to our maximum and we can compete, then we'll have more than enough to win the game. We need to make sure that stays consistent though, and we can follow through with that on a regular basis, giving us a chance to win.
And it was an unchanged starting lineup against Bala, with the game before, of course, against Carnarvon. Are we likely to see the same this coming Tuesday? Although I would be surprised if you answer that one directly. Or due to the fact that there are games now on a Tuesday and a weekend, does that necessitate change in itself?
Yeah, I mean, the players mostly have had sort of Saturday games leading up until now, and it is a busy period coming through. But I think it depends on a couple of things: the opposition we're playing, the style that they're playing, like you say, not just the fitness and availability of our players, but the freshness of them as well. I think you can pick and rotate for certain games, but then also there's a consideration that building the relationships in the team in a similar formation and with players playing next to each other is also a bonus as well. So I think it would definitely be a balancing act moving forward, and if we feel like we'll make some changes, and we will accordingly, but also as well we might stick to the same team too. So yeah, we'll see how we go with that, but we'll let you know Tuesday.
And as far as working with the players is concerned on the training ground, last week you had a whole week to do that. This time, much tighter, just that one day today. How different, therefore, has today's session been compared to the luxury of having a whole week last time round?
Well, yeah, last week was great because we could build in a lot more principles and values and the things that we're working on for the team, not necessarily prepping them for the specific game that normally comes later in the week. So we've continued on the good work from last week, but we've done a lot of video work this week as well, like we said, on planning for the next opposition, but also debriefing the game too. So it's beneficial to get them inside what we call the classroom to show them video clips of their performance. So that's another way of being able to prep that we didn't do as much last week because we're on the grass more. So yeah, I mean, look, listen, players and staff and coaches, we love playing games. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure if you ask the players would they rather play games or train, they'd say play games, and that'd be fair enough as well. So yeah, we don't have any problems with the games coming thick and fast, but we'll have to, or we do look at the training quite specifically depending on those games coming forward.
With 4 consecutive wins, the New Saints leads the way in terms of current form, but just behind the club is Barrytown United, who have won their last 3. They're pushing for 3rd place and, of course, an automatic European spot next season. They'll be full of self-belief. How much consideration do you give to the opposition in terms of statistics such as those? Or do you take the view, let them worry about us, or is the answer somewhere in between?
Yeah, it's both. We do a lot of research as a staff here. They've been very good so far in supporting me in those areas that I think it's really important to look at the statistics and know the statistics of not just the form that the team's been in, but also tactically how they play and what they do. And I think Barry play a real interesting style. They're quite disciplined. They're tactically quite good. From what I've seen, they've played that diamond really well with the 2 strikers on the outside shoulder, which has been interesting if they play that tomorrow, which we think they possibly will. But I think that those things are quite interesting to see and to learn for us, so we're nice and prepared ourselves. But then also how much of that we input to the players and different individuals is key as well. I think you can do too much, but also if you're not enough, then they're not prepared for the game. Having said that, though, as well, just to go back on what I've said, we do make sure that we're clear on what we need to do to win the game as well. If we're on the front foot and we do the things that we've done recently, you talk about our good form there, it is 4 games unbeaten and 4 wins, then that gives us and sets us up with a great chance of winning the game. So probably the long answer is a little bit of both, but we equally need to pay respect to both. So I think, like you said, going for 3rd place, Barry, it's going to be another really tough game, and I think we've probably got 2 of the tougher games coming at the start of this split.
And finally, the availability situation of the players.
Yeah, well, it was good that Jamie Mullen got some minutes on the weekend, so he's trained today, so he'll be available tomorrow, which is good. We've got a couple of small knocks and bruises, but nothing too much we think that'll hold everyone out. Louis Robles has done a little bit more training today, so we'll see how he goes possibly for tomorrow, but that's probably about it. Obviously, we've got Dean Ebb, who's out for a longer term injury, but apart from that, we're not in too bad shape, yeah.